fairness. So I went to the grocery store the other night. Apparently places close early nowadays because I guess the pandemic. It was a little bit after 8 and there was already very long lines. I only bought two things, but there was no express line. So line 1 was closed. I was thinking about going there. Seemed pretty short. But, that little divider that they put up saying line closed, well, that was put up. So people started going away. They made an announcement saying, everybody, line 1 is closed. You can go to other lines or go to line 0. There's actually no sign saying line 0. But apparently there was a line to the right of line 1. That must be line 0, right? So I was waiting there, waiting a long time. Most people understood that it was closed, but one guy kept on going and trying to bug the cashier. It seemed he wanted to check the price, and the cashier initially said because he was busy running somebody else's groceries, no. And then later, when he was done, the guy kept going and asking. And then he didn't seem to want to leave. He said, "Oh, I have so much stuff. It's so hard for me to carry them all." And finally, the cashier relented and just let him check out. The lady at line 0 made an announcement saying line 1 is open, and everybody rushed there. So, what is fair? The guy cutting a line? I don't think that's fair. I actually didn't mind so much because I was already almost at checkout. But if you're behind, I would presume you would mind a lot. The guy was in last place basically and got to first place by cheating. What about them opening it up after the guy was allowed to check out? Is that fair? It makes it so everybody can access the line, not just this cheater, right? Or is it not fair? Because what about the people who were waiting before the line closed? They lost their place and now they're last. Is that fair? What about the employees? They were trying to close. There are people still coming in, right up till 8:30 when they were closed. I'm sure the lady who got in at 8:28 is not going to be able to get all her stuff and be ready by 8:30. I could guarantee that. What about the lady who's trying to come in at 8:30, who was told, no, we're closed? I mean, whose watch are you looking at? It's just a minute, right? I mean, maybe this person just needed to grab one thing. It would be quick. What about the employees? Some of them don't get paid extra for finishing and closing late. I remember when I was working at Burger King, it was actually quite shocking. It was a summer job when I was in high school. That a lot of these people, when they clean up and stuff, it's sort of on their own time. As in, if you're working during normal hours, if you're slow and you make less burgers per hour than somebody else, no biggie, right? You're still paid for the hours. But if you're slow cleaning up, that's on you. Is that fair? There's no such thing as fairness, actually. It's all dependent on your perspective. For example, in this pandemic, the U.S. government is throwing a lot of money around. If you live in the U.S., I'm sure you've heard of that. We actually have wonderful unemployment now, better than we've ever had. Somebody who makes minimum wage can get $700 something a week now, which is more than they would make working full time. So let's take a look from the different classes in society. Let's take a look at the homeless man. So in places like San Francisco, they're getting housed, they're getting drugs, they're getting meds, they're getting food. Is that fair? Well, he thinks it's fair because you're asking him not to contaminate other people and there's no other way to isolate himself. So it's only fair you house him, right? Because if he's going to live on the streets, he's going to live on the streets. And if he's infectious, then he's going to give it to other people. What about somebody who's middle class? He doesn't think that's fair. He's there working while everybody else gets a handout, it seems. And these loans going to rich people? Why? How is that fair? Rich people don't need more money. This middle class person actually needs money because he's not getting any. And things are becoming more expensive. Like eggs. All of a sudden, they're $4 a dozen. Actually, I went to Costco to get eggs. They're still relatively cheap. Presuming you buy 5 dozen, which I did. Is there such a thing as a neutral perspective? Somebody who has no vested interest? Somebody who is not biased? I would say no, because there is no such thing as fairness by itself in isolation. Fairness is all relative. Fair compared to... I mean, if you want to compare, right? Then if we all were good and objective and compared, our lives aren't so bad. There's plenty, millions, probably even tens of millions of starving people out there. Is that fair? Is it fair you have so much when they have so little? Is it fair that we could sit at home on the internet when other people have to be out and about? Otherwise, they will starve to death because they have to work. So going back to that grocery outlet example, when I went shopping, what can we say? What should the employees do to make it fair to the customers? I think it's pretty simple. They should not care about being fair and just focus on doing what they can to get the people out of there so they could close up shop. Isn't that the only fair solution?